I haven't been on my video diary for quite some time. And so just to let you know, I've had a few things go. Um, well, yeah, I've had a few things in my life. One of my friends, my best friend, his father passed, unfortunately. So that was, it was tough. And then my uh, my grandmother, there was a death anniversary as well. So a lot of things have been on my mind. So thank you for all of you who have joined me in this. What you can see behind me, by the way, if you can't see, one of my friends is in Palestine, in Palestine right now. This is the apartheid wall. So you can see some of the art getting out of the way. And I think it's really interesting. You know, uh, I hope my friend stays safe. But yeah, she's in Palestine right now. And so uh, it's kind of interesting. Wanted to keep that as my backdrop. Um, Palestine source. And of course, the bling. So, what I wanted to talk about right now is healthcare. I think for those of you who know me in my regular life, I do believe that healthcare is a human right. Um, so one of the things that I want to talk about is why I feel this way, my own personal experience. And the reality is that I know firsthand how it feels to be in a hospital for a month and then have another 2 months recovery afterwards because you had open heart surgery. Well, I should rather say you've had your chest cut open because of a surgery surrounding your heart. So I had what's called pericarditis when I was 16 years old. And in, I know firsthand how medical advancements, how that played a role in saving my life when I was 16 years old. And just thinking about like, did the surgery exist uh, 50 or even 100, 50 to 100 years prior to when I had it? The answer is no, it didn't. So I understand all of those things. So it was something that I feel very near and dear and to my heart. And I think about, well, if some people who don't have health insurance um, and they don't have the finances to pay all of the copays, um, to pay the deductible, after the fact, then ultimately what happens in these situations? People die. And in America, we have about 60,000 people that do die because of lack of health insurance. And so, and we have Lacey Cohen. Hi, how are you? And, I think that this is something that I understand very well. My mom is a dual citizen with the UK. I've been in a British hospital. And guess what? I didn't pay anything for anything. Like, I went to a hospital with one of my cousins. I went to saw a doctor. I'm not a citizen. My mom is, but I'm not. And yeah, I saw a doctor. I went through all the process. I'm asking my cousin like, how much is the copay? How much am I going to get charged when I come home? This, that, whatever. And then I ask, how much am I going to pay for these drugs? It's like it ended up being like £2 for the drugs, and that's it, right? And so at every stop, my cousin's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, how much are you going to pay for copay? How much are you going to pay for this, that, whatever?" My cousin's like, fuck off. You live in a uncivilized country. And so it's like, what are you doing? So I'm like, okay, all right, cool. You know, um, fine. Like, yeah, I pay $400 a month for the right to not see the doctor. And I think that a lot of Americans, that's what they do. So that was something that kind of was eye opening for me. Um, you know, I do think that this is something that's super important, especially in this current climate. We need to make sure that people are receiving proper health care. So I have, again, the apartheid wall, in Palestine behind me. And one of the things I get concerned about is the people of Palestine and their lack of healthcare that they are denied right now, and how much the hospitals are being bombed on the American taxpayer dime, and how expensive that is. So I think that that is something that we need to also consider. Um, it is one of the things that also is irritating to me is when people in general, they become cowards over what is should be said, needs to be said, and doesn't get said. So I think that it's super important for all of us to make sure that we maintain this level head when we actually look at these situations. So, I wanted to tie into what is happening right now with the lack of hospitals to my personal story, because I think that when people start looking at their own personal stories and they look outward and they look at, well, this happened to me, that should, like, you should have empathy for other people regardless, but please look at your own story, extrapolate what your story means to you, and then understand that somebody else, that they are also a person that, you know that is the hero of their own story. So if you recognize that you want what you want for yourself, you should also recognize what other people need for themselves. And if you believe in people as equal to each other, then you should see everybody as your brother and sister in love. And that's what the Sikh faith actually teaches me as well, is the solidarity with all peoples regardless of faith. So I think that that's super important. So um, I would also like to recognize that this week there was Vaisakhi, which is very specific to for Sikhs, and it's one of the holiest days in our calendar, in our year. And one of the things about Vaisakhi is we have to maintain our solidarity with other communities. And it's not enough for any community. And I think that a lot of communities, they engage in community tribal supremacy, and should not be doing that. What we should be looking at is outwardly, we should be looking at all communities and look at them as our brothers and sisters. And we should definitely be a lot more considerate of the people around us in this moment, because we have to recognize that we have to protect free speech regardless of who is saying it and regardless of what that speech means to us. We don't protect, obviously, when people make threats to others, but what we have to make sure right now is that we are protecting people's speech as well. So I've thrown a lot at you guys in this live. I hope that what you guys take out of this is that we can do better. And one of the things that we need to also look at when it comes to free speech is we need to look at, I have to protect the speech of somebody who I disagree with. And we have to come to these terms, because you defeat people with their with logic and with um, just education. So if you're able to educate people on speech, they can possibly learn something better. And if you deny people their right to speech, even if you disagree with it, if you agree with it, whatever, then you lend yourself to the situation where you can have people that are pro-Palestine, pro-Palestine, and you can have them they can have green cards, they can even have citizenship, and they can be thrown aside into a gulag, and that's what's happening right now. So anyways, I threw a lot at you guys, and please hit the like, please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all of the reach. If this gets to anybody, I appreciate it. If it doesn't, if it has no value, whatever. And also, tonight I had a couple of lychee martinis, so I'm a little buzzing. So that's probably why this live was a little random. So thank you for hanging in there with me. And as we say, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह.